away just to see a brothel, because I've never... Much cheaper to get a hooker, and it probably is. After camping a few days in a state park campground just outside Ely, Nevada, and I rolled out of Nevada completely and back into Utah for the second time of this trip. Just as I was rolling into the state of Utah, I found this dead bird on the pump while refueling. It's still over there at the pump with the dead bird next to it. I had to stop, get me a drink, get some refreshments, get something in my stomach besides some soup. Interesting thing. I bought gas in Utah. Then I walked into that store and bought a drink and some snacks in Nevada. And I asked the lady when I walked in, I was like, the sign back there says Nevada. And the sign right there says Utah. And she said, yep, this store is in Nevada. You pumped your gas in Utah. And I was walking in there to show her the receipt. And she's fully aware of it. Utah, Nevada. Looks like there's some EV pumps over there. They've got a hotel, and they've got slots here. Can't have slots in Utah. So first chance and last chance slots. Pretty funny. I say goodbye to my little bird friend on the pump. Kind of want to play a game. Right now, I'm in Utah. And now, I am in Nevada.
And there's the secret of why I stopped. Next service is 88 miles.
And just like that, I was back in the desert. And if it wasn't for the distant hillsides and mountains, it would be very boring and distracting. Just going across some of these flat stretches, flat straight stretches. And this is a sped up helmet cam here. I apologize for the shakiness, but I did want you to see some of the beauty that you see out here in the desert. Nevada and Utah, they've got some just beautiful stretches, and this looks a whole lot more like Nevada than it does Utah, because Utah has very unique rocks, but I guess they have a lot of this too on the edges, and it was a real joy going through here. As you can see, I'm taking a peek around at all the geology and all the unique landscapes that I see. But once I got over this next mountain range, it started looking a whole lot more like Utah. And of course, once you get in between the mountaintops and the little ranges here, it's still beautiful, but it really kind of grinds on you, combined with the heat and everything. And I saw quite a few of these salt patches here, dry lake beds, I guess you could call it all. Salt lakes, just not as great. And all this stuff was underwater here a few million years ago, so it's kind of not surprising that you see salt in flats out here in Utah. Now see if you can guess what I'm doing here at this roadside park just east of town. It might take you a minute to figure out what I'm trying to do, but it won't take you long till you see when I get frustrated with trying to catch the water from a distance and just get a few sprinkles. I just decided to move up and just get right in it. And this is one of the things, I knew the whole water thing works in the desert because it dries up so quickly and is so effective at cooling you off. Just wished I would have been able to figure a way to carry the water with me and just give it a few squirts as I rolled, because all I have to do is get a little bit of water on me and a little bit of air moving through the jacket, and it takes care of business. It makes a dramatic difference in your attitude because you're
Yeah,
not
that was
hot
great.
anymore. It's really amazing.
I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna pass up any more sprinklers. I mean, if it's really important that they have green grass, I'm gonna make sure. Oops. What the hell's going on here? I think I'm the first year. Yeah, so if it's important that they have green grass, I'm gonna make sure that I have a wet tee.
You know, I'm always traveling with water on the bike, but it's almost always for drinking and cooking purposes. It's never. I take water pretty seriously, especially when I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Um, something breaks and you started walking. You can die out here in the desert. Well, theoretically, you can die anywhere, whether it's hot or not. You need water, and you can't get really far without it. And if you've ever been really dehydrated and had to keep traveling, it really messes with your body to experience that. It's kind of shocking how painful and how deadly it can become really quickly. And people just don't realize how critical water is to your body. But all that to say, I might figure out a way in the future, crossing deserts, I might figure out a way to carry an extra gallon or two just for that cooling effect that you get. It's basically like having a little bit of air conditioning going. In the dry climates, in the south it doesn't work. It just makes you soggy and hot. Still blows my mind how cool it can be just getting out of the sun. I mean, it's blistering hot out there. Just getting some shade. The wind is relatively cool. That's why I haven't taken off this mesh gear, or very little, because it's providing shade for the rest of my body. I am headed north, sadly, because I didn't look at the map. I looked at the map before I started my journey yesterday, and I was thinking Delta, and then I'll make a decision, go north or south. Well, I should have gone south, period, because the plan was to either go into, I don't know, for some reason Salt Lake was in my mind. I don't know why. I'm not going as far as Salt Lake, but I could have easily gone south to Salina and then down 70, and that would have been fine. I've probably been halfway to Colorado by now. But yeah, that's the idea. Is I'm going to Colorado. Oh man, I think I may just turn back south. So, well, I could go a little bit further north. Could go a little bit further north and hit. Yeah, there's no way over. I may turn around and go back to Nephi. No, I gotta go way back. Yeah, I just really screwed up. That's it. I may go to Eureka and then turn back south and then go through Nephi, and then we'll figure it out. We're gonna keep going north. It's not that much further. Eureka's only 8-10 miles. Mammoth. Yeah, I really should take more care when I'm navigating. I'm either going here or here. But I like to leave my options open. I have talked about navigating before and the relative unimportance of navigation and staying on track and trying to stay on your path, unless you've got a very limited amount of time and you've got a couple of 3 goals and you've got to go see all those goals. Navigation is becoming much less important. Typically I focus on a handful of goals that I want to achieve, or just places I want to see or drive by. And if it happens, it happens. If not, then there's a next time, or I can turn around and come back through like I'm doing now. I'm back. This is my second trip through Utah this trip. and I'm rolling back into the small town of Eureka, Utah, because as you know, guess what happened once again, just a few miles from the last time, and now I'm looking for shade.
That was rough. If I can't get it in neutral, I gotta stall it. Yeah, this could have happened out in the desert. It's actually pretty nice here. So, nice breeze. General store right here, which is probably more, probably need him more than I do the repair shop. But the repair shop's half a block away, so I think I'll be in good shape. As long as I can get that ferrule back on. Hell, you know what? Could almost put it on the way it sits. Wow, it's not that far off. Maybe that's what I should do. Let me see.
I do want to straighten a few people out. I am working on a video about the cable repair kit that I continue to use here. So before you start dropping comments about how awful my bike is or how awful these cables are, keep in mind this is a repair. I've been making repairs to crappy cable for the last few weeks, so that video is coming out soon.
All right, that was relatively quick and easy. I'm afraid that the next time it breaks, it's going to be out in the freaking sun, the desert. And I'm going to probably be rolling at no miles an hour. No resources anywhere. And the cable is too short. Something, I lose something. Oof. Yeah, I think I've just been getting lucky, breaking in the absolute perfect spots. Things could be much worse. A lot of times they are. But I'm rolling north, and then south, and then east into Colorado. Unless something else breaks. But we should have positive thoughts, positive energy. Everything's good today. And that's a really good spot to break. Had a chair and everything. Let's check out the chair. I just got through eating. I walked in after I broke it and parked here, and asked if I could borrow their chair. Thought it'd be nice. Got a snatch in it.
It's funny that the phrase that you just heard, things could be much worse. That was kind of my mantra for this trip, and I think it's just one of those things that I think everybody should understand, that things can always be worse. That way, it lessens the impact of the situation that you're in currently. And I think I learned this not too long ago. It was easy in my past to let small things overwhelm me. I turned small things into big things, and it's bad, especially if you want to keep moving forward. There's been a few circumstances where I just, I'm on an adventure and just say screw it. And one in particular, and financially it was more of a case of, okay, it's time to rock and roll and leave this situation behind. But yeah, little situations like this on the road that get you really frustrated. You can't let them get you frustrated, and you just realize, instead of, man, I give up, I'm going home, I can't do this anymore, this sucks, I'm not enjoying it. And I've been there many times. Even on this trip, I started thinking, well, maybe I should just head home. Things they're just not as much fun as when I started, or what I thought I might be running into. But if you do that, you will not be able to continue finding things that are good and interesting. So once you give up, it's really hard to go back. And that was my mantra for this trip. I kept saying it over and over, just because, things always can. Things could always, you broke something on your bike, but you could have a broken leg or a broken back, or, something really devastating that will end your journey and could end your adventures, your future adventures, or completely alter them. So just thinking about things like that, there's ways to alter the way you think about things, and I've just chosen to start using those techniques to try to encourage myself, because there's no team out here. There's no cheerleaders. There's nobody sitting by the side of the road going, "Go, Don, go. Keep going, man. You got it." And every once in a while I'll run into somebody that can help me. But yeah, it's really good to see people that are masters of it, like Garrett Peterson. You see this guy, he's riding all over the country. Sure, he's got a lot of confidence that comes from being a mechanic and all that. But yeah, I think it's got a lot more to do with his attitude than his competence to do repair, because he depends on people on the side of the road a lot. Um, Anyway, I pull into this gas station. I see the water fountain over there with a hose, and decide to do another dousing, which is really, I started becoming addicted to this just because it felt so good. It just really changed your attitude so quickly. Any dry climate, try it. When you're out next time you're riding through the desert or anywhere that has less than 50% humidity, it's probably going to work really well. And here's the mountains of, I can't remember the mountain range here. I'll put it above, but yeah, it's just really nice being back in Utah and seeing the big mountains. And that's kind of where I was headed. I was looking towards camping up in these mountains somewhere this evening before continuing on into Colorado, where I could find big mountains, tall mountains everywhere, and be able to escape the heat. Typically in Colorado, it's not as hot anywhere near as much as it is out there in the desert. But even when it is hot, it gets in the 90s, sometimes in the hundreds. I think it was well into the hundreds in Denver a few times when I was out there. But just being able to drive a few miles up a mountain and get out of that 100-degree heat, get into maybe even some 50s and 60s if you go high enough. If you ride far enough in Colorado, you can get to 13,000 feet. You have to drive pretty far sometimes, but yeah, it's just a beautiful day. Turns out, especially with a nice wet t-shirt contest going on, cooling you off. Nice little air conditioning as you're rolling towards the wonderful town of Ephraim. But that's coming up next time.